started our glamping site in 2017, we've always taken group bookings. Even when we just had the 2 years, we would often get them booked up by 2 families that knew each other. Now we've got 5 domes and a holiday cottage, and pretty much every weekend is a group booking. Even for 2025, we've got 25 weekends that we can have booked, and out of those, 15 are already booked for groups. The great thing about group bookings, it means we've sold all 6 units in one go. So less customer acquisition cost and less marketing cost. The problem is there's often lots of questions that come with a group booking, and sometimes the admin isn't as straightforward. In this video, I'm going to take you through 5 ways to make group bookings more successful. My first tip for getting successful group bookings is to get the tech right. We've had some brilliant group events here. Mostly they are 40th or 50th birthday parties, hen parties or bachelorette parties, Pilates retreats, and networking events. So as you can imagine, coordinating over the phone gets time consuming and intense. Email and texting has made it easier over the years, but it's still a lot. One thing that changed all that was finding a software solution that reduced the need for me to enter everything manually myself. The tech solution I found was ResNexus, and it has halved my workload when it comes to group reservations. Instead of having to manually block out each date and type the same details in multiple times, ResNexus allows me to create a new group reservation really easily. Each group gets their own bespoke booking link, and then the individual can go and put their name to the dome they want and pay online, which saves me hassle and saves the organiser hassle too. Such a time saver. My second tip is to upsell. We have an event space, so by taking a group booking, it means that we can hire out our event space for extra cost. We quite often will suggest to guests ways to make their event more memorable, such as a silent disco, live band or DJ. This means they can use the event space and then we get some extra revenue. We've had some brilliant group bookings here. They've brought bouncy castles, paintball experiences, Nerf gun shootouts, space hopper races. If you organise a bouncy castle and the bouncy castle company charge you £200, you could charge your guest £225 for your coordination and the time you've taken to help that guest. Hen parties have a lot of scope for upselling. We offer afternoon teas, cake decorating, dance lessons, and because I was a dance teacher, I can then teach the class myself and then all the profit goes to me. If I charge around £5 a head and there's 30 women doing a dance lesson, that's £150 in the hour for me. Again, with being on board with the suppliers, I can get pamper and massage activities and then I can take a cut of that profit from the organiser. But the best way to upsell on a hen party is to create a package. So at the moment, I've worked out that if 30 people come in for a hen party and they book the full site, it would only work out about £53 a head for the whole weekend. Now this seems really cheap for a hen party, so what I've done is created a package. So if you come and stay for the 2 nights, you also get a dance lesson, an afternoon tea and a cake decorating course. And I can charge £125 a head, even though it would only cost £100 if they book separately. Weddings are also an incredible opportunity to upsell. We've only just started in the world of weddings, and we had our first one 2 weeks ago, and if I'd have done it correctly, I could have made quite a good profit, but I didn't, and that is a story for another video. But what a lot of sites do is a dry hire cost. So my advice would be to give the site a dry hire cost. So we might say the base cost for you to hire the whole accommodation for the weekend and all the event spaces is £5,000. I'm just picking a figure out of the sky here. Because bear in mind, they're probably going to want the day before and the day after for setup and clear up. So you're basically blocking out 4 nights when they're only staying for 2. So give yourself all the time that you need. Make sure it's worth your while because it will be a lot of clear up. Then they can organise whatever they want. They can organise the caterers, the flowers, the decorations, and then you've doubled your money on a weekend, and that's always a win. My third tip is about converting group bookings into retreats. Now this mainly for me means catering. We have a Pilates retreat that come in twice a year and I do all the catering for that. And it's a brilliant extra source of revenue. Even if catering isn't your thing, you can lay out a buffet breakfast for a retreat really easily to increase your income. Price up the cost with local caterers and see how much they would charge, and you'd be surprised how much extra profit you could be making. My fourth tip is to really think about your group booking policies. Brian really hates group bookings. He feels like people come to the site and they just want to be rowdy and drink and it's very stressful. That's not necessarily untrue, so we need a way to mitigate that, so we don't upset any neighbours and it doesn't become stressful. Make sure the policies mitigate noise too late. We have quiet time from 10:30 p.m, so they can't play any music after that. Or we have the option that if they do want to play music, they can go down to the studio space where nobody can hear them. There is a possibility of adding an extra charge for a late night party. You also want to make sure they know that checkout time is 10:30 because groups do tend to like to push it back a bit and maybe stay and have lunch together. So there's always the option of offering them a late checkout if you can. If you haven't got anybody coming in until the Monday, for example, then you could offer them a late checkout fee, so maybe £50 for the whole site if they want to stay a bit later. My last tip for successful group bookings is to make sure they're having an amazing time and that they want to come back again and that they rebook as a group for next year. What I tend to do is when a guest leaves, I say, would you like to book your regular slot for next year? And more often than not, like, yeah, let's just get it in the diary. And so I block the site out for them on that very day that they're leaving, and then I've got no marketing to worry about. I know that is filled. And that's what we tend to find, is that groups will book the same thing year on year. We've got a group that booked the May Bank holiday weekend they've booked it for like the next 5 years, just so they know that booking is always in, and that's so much easier for us because then we haven't got to worry about it. So do let me know in the comments if you take group bookings is something that's really useful to your site. Do you absolutely hate it? Do you ban groups? I'd really love to know, because Brian always feels like he doesn't want to take group bookings anymore, whereas I feel like it's our bread and butter. So we'd love to know your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we will give you all the up-to-date information with anything new that is happening in the glamping world. In fact, that is a video I'm going to be making very soon. It's all the latest stuff that is happening in the glamping world in the UK. Thank you so much for watching. A massive thank you to our sponsor ResNexus, who are the property booking system that we could not live without and we use all the time. And it has been so useful for our group reservations. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on our next video.